David Do is currently facing backlash for being a bad friend, while Cody is making a comeback to his reaction-based YouTube channel. Meanwhile, Matt James has resurfaced on social media, and drama surrounding the Oscars and Chappell Roan is heating up. There's a lot to unpack this week, and we're diving into all the trending topics. Let's kick things off with the Super Bowl, because today is the big day. While the game and halftime show are at the center of attention, one of the biggest headlines leading up to the event has been the speculation surrounding Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. Will Blake be attending alongside Taylor? With just hours left before kickoff, this question has been dominating the press. Some sources claim that there's tension between the two, suggesting that their friendship has hit a rough patch, while others insist that they're still as close as ever. The rumors stem from leaked text messages between Blake Lively and Justin Vaughn, where it was revealed that Taylor had given her thoughts on a script that Blake had written. According to Justin, the way Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift praised Blake's script made him feel pressured to approve it as well. Since Taylor's name was brought into the legal dispute, speculation has been swirling about whether this has created a rift between her and Blake. Media outlets are reporting conflicting stories. Some claim they're not on speaking terms and won't be attending the Super Bowl together, unlike last year, while others insist everything is fine and that their friendship remains solid. All eyes will be on Taylor and her squad at the game. Last year, she made headlines by bringing Blake and Ice Spice, so there's plenty of curiosity about who will be accompanying her this time. According to a recent report from TMZ, sources with direct knowledge claim that Blake is not on Taylor's guest list for the Super Bowl as Taylor watches her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, attempt to secure his third consecutive championship ring. However, earlier reports suggested that Blake was expected to attend, making the whole situation even more confusing. It seems like we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. Shifting gears to another major controversy, let's talk about the ongoing Oscars drama, which has escalated significantly since last week. This situation involves actress Karla Sofia Gaskin, who has been nominated for Best Actress for her performance in Emilia Perez. However, past social media posts of hers have resurfaced, sparking outrage. Many are now calling for her nomination to be revoked, and there's even talk that the backlash could jeopardize the film's chances of winning any awards. While it's unclear exactly how much impact this controversy will have, it's undeniable that the film has now become embroiled in an overwhelming amount of negative attention, potentially influencing Academy voters. The resurfaced tweets include controversial remarks Karla allegedly made about Muslims, George Floyd, and diversity at the Oscars. In response to the backlash, she issued a public apology and deactivated her Twitter account. In a statement released through Netflix, she acknowledged the controversy, saying, "I want to address the conversations surrounding my past social media posts, which have caused harm. As someone from a marginalized community, I deeply understand suffering, and I sincerely apologize to those I have hurt. I have always fought for a better world, and I believe that light will always overcome darkness." However, even after her apology, more alleged tweets began circulating, including ones containing negative remarks about Adele and Selena Gomez. Karla, however, has denied these claims, insisting that those tweets were fabricated. The accusations became even more awkward when people pointed out that she had supposedly referred to Selena Gomez, her Emilia Perez co-star, as a rich brat in the past. The situation remains murky, as Karla continues to deny posting the tweets in question. Amid the controversy, Netflix has chosen to distance itself from her. Variety recently reported that Gaskin, who made history as the first openly transgender actress to be nominated for Best Actress at the Academy Awards, had been expected to travel from Spain to Los Angeles for the ceremony. However, Netflix's decision to step back from their association with her could indicate further trouble ahead. With so many conflicting reports and developments, this story is far from over, and we'll be keeping an eye on any new updates as the Oscars approach. As the Oscars campaign entered its crucial second phase, Karla Sofia Gaskin had originally been scheduled to attend some of the most high-profile events in the entertainment industry. Her planned itinerary included the prestigious AFI Awards launch on Thursday, the Critics' Choice Awards on Friday, the Directors Guild of America Awards, and the Producers Guild of America Awards on Saturday, followed by an appearance at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival on Sunday. However, sources have now revealed to Variety that Gaskin is no longer expected to attend any of these major events. It appears that Netflix and her PR agency have ceased direct communication with her, now choosing to only correspond through her representative at United Talent Agency, Jeremy Barber. Additionally, insiders claim that Netflix has decided to halt financial support for Gaskin's promotional campaign, meaning they are no longer covering her travel expenses for these award ceremonies, nor are they funding her styling for any of the red carpet appearances she was initially set to make. In light of the mounting controversy, Gaskin has issued yet another apology, this time taking to Instagram to address the situation. Her statement followed an interview given by Emilia Perez director Jacques Audiard, in which he openly discussed the growing backlash surrounding both the film and its lead actress. In her post, Gaskin explained that she made the difficult decision to remain silent for the sake of the film, its director, the cast, and the incredibly talented crew who had worked so hard on the project. She expressed her hope that the film would be allowed to stand on its own merit and be appreciated for what it truly is, a beautiful tribute to love and acceptance. She ended her message with a heartfelt apology to anyone who had been hurt as a result of the controversy. Now, the biggest question is whether this ongoing backlash will impact Emilia Perez's chances at the Oscars, as prior to this, the film had been considered a strong contender for multiple awards. Shifting gears, let's dive into another headline-making story, Matt James' unexpected return to social media. This past week, James made his first Instagram post since publicly announcing his breakup with Rachel Kirkconnell, and the internet had a lot to say about it. For those who might not recall, Matt James rose to fame as the Bachelor lead during one of the most talked about and controversial seasons in the show's history, one that also marked Chris Harrison's final season as the host. James and Kirkconnell met on The Bachelor, briefly split, rekindled their romance, and over the years, became a beloved couple, frequently sharing cute cooking videos and glimpses into their relationship. However, after 4 years together, the pair unexpectedly broke up, shocking their fans. When James posted about the breakup on Instagram, the public reaction was intense. Many people felt blindsided, particularly after Kirkconnell appeared on the Call Her Daddy podcast, where she candidly shared her perspective on the split. She revealed that the breakup caught her completely off guard, especially since James had frequently talked about marriage, their future together, and even starting a family. Social media was flooded with past clips of James discussing his excitement about getting married, with fans pointing out that he had openly talked about wedding plans and family life in previous interviews. In one resurfaced interview, when asked what he was most looking forward to in the future, James had playfully responded, "Eating," before quickly adding, "But, actually, just having a family together." This contrast between his past statements and his sudden decision to end the relationship left fans furious. Many took Kirkconnell's side, expressing sympathy for her and disappointment in James. The backlash was swift. James lost a significant number of followers, dipping below the 1 million mark, while Kirkconnell saw a surge in support, gaining over 200,000 new followers in the days following the breakup announcement. Now, James is making headlines again, not just for his social media comeback, but for how he chose to return. He posted a video of himself running, a trend that seems to be catching on among male influencers, making their return to the spotlight. First, David Dobrik did it, then Cody, and now Matt James is jumping on the bandwagon. But what really caught people's attention was the revelation that he had booked a one-way ticket to Kenya. In his post, James explained that he had been spending time in Africa, revealing a personal connection to the continent. His father was born in Nigeria, and visiting Africa had always been a dream of his. He detailed the preparation required for the trip, mentioning that he had to get vaccinated for yellow fever, typhoid, and cholera, as well as apply for a visa. His journey took him on a 13-hour direct flight from New York City to Nairobi, Kenya's capital. From there, he flew another 30 minutes to Eldoret, followed by a 30-minute drive to Iton, a location renowned for producing some of the world's greatest long-distance runners. The town serves as a training ground for elite athletes from around the world who come to experience what makes this place so special. James reflected on his time there, emphasizing that, like most extraordinary places, it's the people that truly make it unique. Despite his attempt at a fresh start, James' return to social media has been met with mixed reactions. The comment section of his post was filled with sarcasm, with some users even joking, "Thank God it was a one-way ticket." Clearly, the public sentiment toward him hasn't softened just yet, and only time will tell whether he'll be able to redeem himself in the eyes of his former fans. Matt James expressed his excitement about being in Kenya, eager to immerse himself in the culture and witness firsthand what makes the country such a unique and special place. However, in a subtle but significant move, he quietly deleted his breakup announcement with Rachel Kirkconnell from his Instagram page. If you recall, his original breakup post caused quite a stir because he shared it just hours after the split, which many viewed as incredibly hurtful to Rachel. When people caught on to the timing, they were stunned, calling it insensitive and unnecessary. Shifting gears to social media comebacks, let's talk about Cody Co. After a period of relative quiet, he has officially returned to his secondary YouTube channel, Cody and Company, which is dedicated to reaction content. If you've been following his online activity, you'll remember that when he first made his return, he did so through his Cody Trains channel, his third and lesser-known fitness-focused channel. Now, however, he seems to be strategically easing back into his main content. With this gradual rollout, many fans speculate that a video on his primary channel is only a matter of time. So far, his reintroduction to YouTube has been met with mostly positive reactions. His recent uploads include reactions to MrBeast's torture games and checking in on the button, and the comment sections have been flooded with fans expressing how much they missed him and how happy they are to have his content back. That said, not everyone is on board with his return. While the majority of public comments appear supportive, some wonder if he's carefully curating them or filtering out negativity. After all, there remains a faction of people who strongly disapprove of him due to his past controversy with Tana Mongeau. While some refuse to forgive him, others are clearly still watching, proving that despite the backlash, he maintains an audience. Now, let's discuss one of the most talked about moments at this year's Grammys, Chappell Roan's acceptance speech. When she won the award for Best New Artist, she used her platform to address a major issue within the music industry, calling out record labels for failing to provide artists with a livable wage and access to health care. Her speech was met with overwhelming support from both fans and fellow artists, many of whom stood and applauded as she shared her personal experience of being dropped by a label during the pandemic. She opened up about how she was left without income, job experience, or health insurance, highlighting the precarious financial situation many artists face. While her message resonated with a large audience, it also sparked backlash. The Hollywood Reporter published a guest column titled Chappell Roan, The Misguided Rhetoric of an Instant Industry Insider, written by music industry executive Jeff Rubin. In his article, Rubin dismissed Chappell's speech as tired and unoriginal, arguing that she lacked the experience to be speaking on such industry-wide issues. He suggested that rather than expecting labels to provide financial security, artists should take personal responsibility for their careers. His critique was blunt. While acknowledging that her intentions were noble, he deemed her views naive and unrealistic. Chappell wasted no time clapping back. She posted a screenshot of the article on her Instagram story and directly called out Jeff Rubin, publicly challenging him to donate $25,000 to struggling artists who had been dropped by their labels. "My publicist is Biz3 Publicity. Let's talk," she wrote, making it clear that she was willing to take action and was now holding him to his own words. She doubled down by promising to update fans on his response and, if he agreed to the donation, to share receipts proving he followed through. She also took a sarcastic jab at his criticism, referencing his own words. "I love how in the article you said, 'Put your money where your mouth is, genius.' Let's link and build together, and let's see if you can do the same." Chappell wasn't alone in her response. Fellow artist Halsey voiced her support, posting on her own Instagram story in solidarity with Chappell. She made it clear that she, too, was not impressed with the Hollywood Reporter's take on the matter, further amplifying the conversation around artist treatment in the industry. Meanwhile, another online figure facing some scrutiny is Brooke Schofield. Recently, fans felt that she showed too much leniency toward David Dobrik, seemingly offering him grace that they believed he did not deserve, especially considering her close friendship with Jeff Wittek, who has openly condemned Dobrik. Some fans were outraged, questioning how she could extend any level of understanding toward Dobrik given everything that has transpired. The debate intensified when people started arguing over whether David actually got off scot-free or if he, too, faced significant fallout from the controversy. While some insist he's managed to avoid real consequences, others argue that he definitely took a hit and has yet to fully recover. It's been a wild week of entertainment industry drama, from YouTube returns to Grammy speeches to ongoing feuds. With so many conflicting opinions, heated debates, and unexpected twists, it's safe to say that this conversation is far from over. It's clear that emotions are running high in this conversation, with conflicting perspectives on accountability, guilt, and whether or not certain individuals deserve grace. The discussion started with the idea that while no one is saying David Dobrik didn't deserve the backlash he faced, it's also not entirely accurate to say that nothing happened to him as a result of the controversy. However, the conversation quickly pivoted to the more significant issue, Jeff Wittek's experience, and the lack of financial or emotional amends made by David. The analogy used was intense. Imagine if I took your eye out, never paid you $1, never apologized, and never even publicly acknowledged your pain. This perspective highlights the frustration people feel, not just at David's actions, but at the silence that followed. The point was further emphasized by questioning the loyalty of mutual friends. All of those people were Jeff's friends too, the argument went, suggesting that there's an expectation for mutual acquaintances to take a moral stand in situations like this. A hypothetical scenario was presented. If the speaker had caused someone serious harm, their friend page would have stepped in and told them to take responsibility. The comparison was stark, with the speaker even jokingly stating that if they had done something similar, I would have had to die or something by now because the guilt would eat me alive. This wasn't meant literally, but rather as an expression of just how unbearable the guilt of such an act would be for them. There was also a moment of self-awareness in the discussion, acknowledging that the speaker didn't want to be seen as an apologist for David, nor did they intend to defend his actions. Still, they couldn't help but wonder if he felt any guilt or remorse at all. When the other party in the conversation firmly stated, "No, I don't think he does," it became a stark contrast between two different perspectives, one assuming that guilt must be weighing on David, and the other believing that he has been largely unaffected. As the conversation unfolded, another crucial point was brought up, whether someone who has faced their own controversy is in a position to call out someone else's. The argument was made that if a person is still dealing with the repercussions of their own cancellation, it might feel hypocritical to condemn another person. How can I hope that people have grace for me if I have no grace for anyone else? This was countered by the argument that holding others accountable doesn't necessarily mean that one's own past should be ignored. After all, this was a podcast where difficult discussions were expected, not a lighthearted chat. Brooke Schofield, in particular, came under fire for appearing to show leniency toward David. While she acknowledged how difficult things have been for Jeff, she also seemed to extend some level of understanding to David's situation, which upset many people. Tana Mongeau made it clear that she was firmly in Jeff's corner, expressing frustration over the idea that David could move on with his life, buying expensive cars for his friends, going on lavish vacations, and throwing around money, while still refusing to make things right with Jeff. It was this discrepancy that angered so many people, the idea that David had the means to take responsibility but had chosen not to. Because Brooke had been recently criticized for this stance, the conversation was reignited when Jeff brought it up on his podcast with Tana. "You stuck up for me against your co-host," he told her, referring to Brooke. "I thought she was my friend too, but suddenly, she's over there siding with the devil." Tana didn't hold back in her response, making it clear that she would always stand by Jeff. She suggested that Brooke might simply be afraid of controversy, but if that were the case, then perhaps she was in the wrong industry. "This game isn't for you then, girl," she said bluntly. "You're not going to make it." Tana's stance contrasted with Brooke's, and the internet noticed. Many people felt uneasy about Brooke's hesitance to fully condemn David, especially given how close she had become to Jeff. They struggled to reconcile her apparent understanding of Jeff's pain with the grace she was extending to David. Meanwhile, others pointed out that Tana and Trisha Paytas had both been incredibly vocal in their support for Jeff, so Brooke's reluctance stood out even more in comparison. While all of this was happening, David Dobrik was quietly making moves of his own. He recently posted another YouTube video, this time on his second channel, consisting of bloopers and behind-the-scenes clips that didn't make it into his big comeback video. However, this new upload didn't come without controversy. One of the biggest criticisms stemmed from a joke he made at Jason Nash's expense. In the video, David quipped, "We waited for Jason to hit rock bottom again," implying that they were waiting for his lowest moment before filming. Jason, seemingly playing along, responded, "Are you serious?" "Of course, I'm free." David then replied, "Guess what? That was free too. No more TikTok Live." Many people were not amused by this exchange. They pointed out that while David had stepped away from YouTube and maintained financial stability, his friends had been left struggling. Jason, in particular, has been relying on TikTok Live as a source of income, and yet, David still chose to include the clip of him admitting that he didn't enjoy doing it. The fact that Jason even asked David not to include that part, yet David put it in anyway, rubbed people the wrong way. Another moment in the video reinforced the ongoing tension. Jason joked, "This is how you met me, destitute." To which David replied, "I know," and it went right back. The humor was lost on many viewers who saw it as a painful reminder of the financial disparity between David and his friends. The overall sentiment from fans was that David's awareness of his friends' struggles seemed off. While they had been hustling to stay afloat, he had been largely absent from the platform, only returning when it suited him. Now, with his comeback underway, people are once again questioning whether he has truly changed or if he's simply picking up where he left off. This entire situation, from Jeff Wittek's lingering resentment toward David, to Brooke's mixed stance, to David's questionable content choices, proves that the fallout from past controversies isn't over yet. Whether or not any of them will address these issues head-on remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, the internet is still watching. The ongoing conversation around David Dobrik's latest content and behavior has sparked a wave of reactions online, with many questioning whether he has truly learned from past controversies or if he is simply reverting to his old ways. One of the biggest talking points in his recent video was a moment between him and Jason Nash, in which Jason openly expressed his frustration with having to do TikTok Live for income. During the conversation, Jason seemed exhausted by the fact that he still had to rely on TikTok Live for financial stability, admitting, "Oh my God, I don't want to do TikTok Live anymore. You can't put that in, but I'm dying to get out." He even joked about making a big announcement to his audience, saying, "I'd be like, guys, I know everyone hates this and nobody hates it more than me." What made this moment even more intriguing was that David initially posted this clip onto his own TikTok, only to later delete it. The decision to remove it raised speculation. Was it because he realized it didn't paint him in a good light, considering Jason had specifically asked him not to include it? Or did he start receiving backlash from viewers who saw it as him making fun of Jason's financial situation? Many people pointed out that Jason had been struggling to stay afloat ever since David stepped away from regular content creation, while David himself has been comfortably coasting in what some describe as an early retirement. Some viewers even went as far as to criticize Jason, questioning why he was complaining about having to do TikTok Live instead of finding a more traditional job. The situation also reignited discussions about the power imbalance between David and the rest of the vlog squad, particularly how his financial security allows him to live a carefree lifestyle while some of his closest friends have had to hustle to maintain theirs. There has been long-standing discourse about how David has, in some ways, lost touch with the struggles of his friends. Previously, it was reported that David turned down a lucrative podcast deal that could have been life-changing for Jason, simply because he wasn't interested in continuing with the show. This decision left Jason in a difficult position financially, something he has spoken about candidly on his own podcast. Many felt that David's indifference to Jason's situation made him seem like an even worse friend, especially since Jason was being so public about how tough things had been for him. One of the main criticisms of David's behavior is that he seems entirely detached from the realities his friends face. As one person put it, David's in a stage in his life where he can do whatever he wants. If there's a party, he's there, drinking, having a good time, living it up every single day. In contrast, Jason and others from the vlog squad simply don't have that luxury. Jason himself admitted that he couldn't live like that, saying, "I just can't do that, man. I don't have that mindset." Another friend added, "David's celebrating because he's made it. We've talked about this before. I can't even imagine putting myself in that headspace." Jason also shared that he has expressed his struggles to David multiple times, but it's unclear if David truly understands the gravity of what he's going through. "I tell him things like, 'I'm losing my house,' and he'll just respond with, 'Oh, but just come play pool,'" Jason revealed. This specific comment struck a chord with many viewers, who saw it as further proof that David is completely out of touch with the reality that his friends are facing. Some even pointed out that in his new video, he was essentially laughing at the fact that his friends were struggling financially while he remained unaffected. However, there is a silver lining for Jason, for now at least, since he and David are back to working together on their podcast. Whether or not this will last remains to be seen, but for the time being, it seems like Jason might finally have a more stable source of income again. As for David's latest vlog, the content was strikingly similar to what he used to produce before all the scandals. The video was filled with familiar elements, offensive jokes, over-the-top antics, and a car giveaway. One particularly criticized moment was a clip where someone had written a crude message outside David's house, and instead of handling it differently, he leaned into the kind of humor that got him in trouble in the first place. In another controversial segment, David can be heard joking about someone's weight, making remarks like, "Natalie, obese, we're actually recruiting for the gang. Give me a 360. Goddamn, you're fat as bleep." The humor was reminiscent of the same kind of jokes he used to make in his earlier vlogs, and it left many viewers questioning whether he had learned anything from past Backlash. Another scene that sparked debate involved a luxury car giveaway. A woman, seemingly overwhelmed, responded to the situation, and David joked about her not speaking English properly. She said she wanted a Mercedes because she wanted a Mercedes, he quipped, before mocking her for her broken English. This vlog left many wondering, does David genuinely believe he can just go back to making the same kind of content that got him into trouble in the first place? Does he think that if he ignores the past and pretends nothing happened, people will simply accept his return without question? It's a risky move, considering that the very style of content he's producing is what initially led to his downfall. You would think that after everything, he would be more cautious about what he puts in his videos, but based on what we've seen, it doesn't seem like he's trying to prove he's changed at all. Instead, it feels like he's leaning into what used to work for him, as if trying to reclaim his old YouTube glory days. Whether or not the strategy will be successful remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, people are watching closely. With so much drama unfolding across the entertainment space, from David's return to Cody KO's social media comeback, to the ongoing Oscars controversies and Roan's clash with The Hollywood Reporter, it's clear that there's no shortage of discussions happening right now. But what do you guys think? Is David handling his comeback the right way, or is he setting himself up for more trouble? Should Jason be receiving more sympathy, or do people have a point when they say he could get another job? And what about Roan? Was The Hollywood Reporter's take completely off base, or did they have some valid criticisms? There's so much to break down, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. At the end of the day, the drama never stops, and the internet never forgets. Whether it's David Dobrik making a questionable comeback, Cody slowly stepping back into the spotlight, or Roan standing her ground against industry execs, there's always something stirring up conversations online. The entertainment world is unpredictable, and just when you think things have settled down, a new wave of controversy, comebacks, and call-outs emerge. But now, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on everything we covered today? Do you think David Dobrik has truly learned from the past, or is he just falling back into old habits? Is Jason Nash getting too much criticism, or does he need to take more responsibility for his situation? And what about Roan? Do you think her message will actually push the industry toward real change? Drop your opinions in the comments because this is definitely a conversation worth having. If you enjoyed today's video and want to stay updated on all the latest drama, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We've got plenty more to talk about, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.